Ooh. That's a cool effect. Turns on, turns off, turns on, stops, on, stops. All right, so quick video today. Just wanted to go over something that I was exploring with this setup. What I was doing today, aside from all that, what I've been thinking about in my head in regards to the Digitone the last couple of days was not even using it as a sound source, as a synth, but just using it as kind of like a brain to control all the other things that are on the desk right now. And in this video, what I'm going to speak on is kind of what I have going on as far as the Digitone controlling things. We have some filter automation on the BLACKBOX that is happening on track 15 of the Digitone 2. And that's going out to channel 2, which is affecting MIDI channel in for 2 for this pad right here, this guitar sample. And on track 16, I have the Digitone affecting bus 1's multi-effects, which is currently a filter. So I'll kind of show you what those things are doing right now by muting. So we'll mute track 16. Oh, hold on. So right now we are just listening to the BLACKBOX going into, so the audio routing right now, without getting too complicated. Every single out 1, 2, and 3 of the BLACKBOX are going into different effects, which are then going into the mixer right here. So 1, 2, 3, and then this is channel 2. So that's going to be our guitar, drums, and then some little percussions right here. But with that out of the way, this is what we're listening to, the guitar. The guitar sample is on the BLACKBOX, and it is set to MIDI channel 2. So I have track 15 on the Digitone, track 15, set to MIDI channel 2. If I change that channel, it stops affecting the filter, because being on MIDI channel 2, I have MIDI learned. So if I go to the filter and I press info, I've mapped this knob to the filter on the BLACKBOX. Let's play again. Press play. Press play. Cool. We could see what this looks like. I have some trigless trigs here. So let's see. What if I wanted to take these off? And I have a LFO going into this trigger. And I'm not too good with how LFOs work and, these modes and stuff. This is a lot of experimenting, but I think I have it on trig mode 1. Yeah, that works. So when it trigs, that's a thing. I also have this like LFO trig on. So I assume when it triggers, it turns on. And it took me a second to figure out how to get some movement, because I wanted to like do it with the LFO, I thought doing this was like a thing. It didn't help me at all. So what I ended up doing was copy, paste, copy, paste. So I have 4 of the same kind of like triggers happening to give me this movement, cool thing about this is, function track. If I want to mute this and just let it play, now the sample just comes through without the affected like trigless trigs, which is fun. And I'm sure there's a bunch of other things that I mean, there are many things on the black box that allow you to just like, decay, learn, because, there's things that you can learn, like if I wanted to do another LFO, whatever. Right now, I'm just affecting the things that I care about, which is like this filter modulation, right? So go turn that on, right? The next one was something that I was interested in as far, because I have all of my audio. The way that I have this set up is the Digitone goes into the black box, and then I could decide whether it goes through output 1, 2, or 3, and then the sample pads on the black box, I can decide which pad goes out to through what output as well. But everything pretty much now currently goes into the effects box, and then from the effects box, it goes into my 404. So if I turn the source off, no audio. But the next thing that I wanted to do was affect all of the audio coming in. So even though I'm doing a lot of effects here, I think having this at the end of your chain is a good way to affect the whole sound, right? And obviously filtering everything came to mind, so being able to, at the end of everything, if I was like performing live and I wanted like one master like cut down or cut off and what have you, that is what was on my mind. So of course I did some digging through some of my old videos. I have like my kind of like SP404 MIDI CC cheat sheet right here that I did in a previous video that I'll link here, when it came to mapping my Fader Fox EC4 to the 404. But it came in handy because this has MIDI channels and same values apply no matter what MIDI device you're using, sequencer or whatnot. But this is what I came up with. So let's unmute some of this. We'll take the filter off of the guitar, and now I'll show you what track 16 is doing. Track 16 is set to channel 1, and then I have a CC value going to the activation, the on and off for the multi-effects, and then knob A over here is affecting control knob 1. And the cool thing about the 404 is you can see it happening on the screen too. So once I activate it, unmute it, look, oh, can you see? It shuts off really fast. But basically I have here, let's copy, we'll take that away. So every time it activates, is it an LFO? It is an LFO that I have on value 1. So I have an LFO that goes from a particular position. So on step 1, I have it set at 40, because if I had it down to 20, it starts way too, it doesn't complete the thing. It doesn't complete the task in the time that I want it to. So yeah, that's a good start for it. The one problem that I ran into was, so as you can see, this is going to cycle through every time it goes to the first step, it'll cycle through it. But let's say I wanted to mute this so I can like continue my jam or whatever. As you can see, this stays on and it kind of goes back down. And I feel like that's an LFO thing, like, or maybe it's just like how fast this is. Let me see. Okay. So that's a thing. Anyway, I didn't want that to happen. I don't know exactly why it's happening the way it is, but it is. So what I had to do was, let's unmute it. All right. So it's unmuted. I put in a off command on this step because this is kind of where I want it to end, So if you look, 13 is basically just, I just value synced. So when it comes to turning this pad on and off, anything below 63, the state of this button is off. Anything above 63, the state of the button is on. So I just parameter locked a value of 62 for this trig right here. So it shuts it off, right? So it's on. So if I put this right here, for instance, we're gonna see it cut off early, right? And I guess I could do this. Right? That's an option. But for what I'm looking for, and the reason I'm making the video right now is for how I had it. Cutting it off right there. Yeah, there it is. Copy, paste. So the reason I had it right there as well is for this purpose. So let's say I'm jamming out. Let's activate the... Cool. So I know it's on. If I want to mute it. Oh, I did it wrong. Okay. So I know the cutoff is at 13. So that I can let the jam go, you know? I'm gonna find a better way because I could forget, you know? I might have to start it sooner. So SP404 is filtering the whole thing. Or at least I just know when that snare hits, that's when I can like turn it off. Because if I forget and I do it a little too late, see, so now it's on, right? Let's say I forget to do it and I mute it too soon, this won't cut off and it'll dip down, right? So I do have to remember snare, bam. So it'll be maybe, you know, just some user, gotta stay on my toes, cross my T's and dot my I's until I find a better, you know, one solution I can think of just right now is just setting the reset or the off sooner, but it doesn't give me the, like right there, it's not giving me the length that I want. So right there, there could be some form of you know, like fill setup, but I think for now I'll just have to remember snare, cut it off, because basically that snare, when we're looking at this sequencer go through, hits at the moment that I want the filter to stop, and also it will trigger the off command for this, you know. Also, man, I should have said this. So I have the MIDI out going into the black box, and then from the black box I have, so MIDI out from the Digitone 2 into the black box's MIDI in, and then the black box has MIDI through capabilities. So I have a MIDI out cable from the black box going into the 404, which allows the Digitone to speak to the black box and also speak through the black box into the 404, which allows me like MIDI sync times, you know? You can play with like weird delay stuff, you know? That's a fun one. Whoa. Yeah. Damn. All right, let's see. Ooh. That's a cool effect. Turns on, turns off, turns on, stops, on, stops. That's fun. I like that. Anyway, that's it, guys. I'm pretty excited about what's going on here, so, you know, I'll try to press record and upload as I discover cool things with what we got going on here. So, yeah, that's it, guys. I'll see you later. Peace.